So over this demonstration, we're going to show some hands-on on IoT forensics when it comes to inspecting real system logs. So this would be important to see how Linux works and where IoT device would store logs potentially, and how we would be able to identify authentication or system events. If we want to check just shortly some steps that we want to see what would be the key directories that we want to see, so that would be the place. So we're gonna use this command to see that total is around 22,000 of those key directories. So this way we're gonna know what we are having with this environment. So that would be the very first beginning of showing key directories. Let's move on examining the authentication.log, auth.log file. So that would be doing this way. So we would ask for permission, since that would be part of the system, and we're gonna see and inspect this auth log. What would have this? Let's see. So that would provide a lot of information, would explain a lot of if potential SSH login attempts was happening before, and if something was failing, session that was open. So we see that the session that was open, session that was closed for root. So this way we would be able to investigate that one. But we can further use the grep as a good method and a tool for this purpose to, for example, grep I on all those failed. We would see failed events, failed attempts, failed logs that would be kept in this auth log. So auth log would be that place where we would be looking for such kind of things and using the grep. So you would know this way that how authentication logs would provide and what kind of evidences we will be able to find on of any attempts on intrusion or misconfiguration. Further, we would see, for the purpose of this demonstration, since we are on the IoT forensics, I have here an IoT logs that is from sensor log that I kept, and this I'm going to use for further analysis. So how are we going to analyze the IoT device logs? Again, grep would be a good method for this purpose that we want to use, because that would be the way that we would be able to show more and see what those logs would be keeping. It would be on the week 13. Let's see, and we have this IoT underscore logs, and then we'll have this sensor log. Let's use the grep for a moment and try to grab any critical event that was part of this, or we can mix it. So we can mix it those. So warning, we can mix. That would be good. So on the sensor log, let's see. So there isn't much. So there is any of those. And let's grab, for example, all the device name, device or PI-1. So that would be something potentially. And let's see. We have a device that is named that way. So this would be the way how you would further reveal on IoT logs device behavior, anomalies, any patterns, trends, or overheating attack. And the next thing that I'm going to talk about is about simulating log rotation. So log rotate. So we're going to understand how this would happen when it comes to the rotation of policies and compression. So by default, the system would be able to do this rotation that would happen this way. So I have a folder that I name it IoT logs rotate demo, and I have the actual sensor log that is 2.7 kilobytes. And let's see how we're going to do this. So first, what we will be able to do, so we would be able to configure, to set up this. That way that would do that log rotation based on those specifics that we would do. How we would do that, so we would go, for example, home, Kali, desktop, and we are on that environment. So let's just go one step back and see. So we're going to be on this IoT logs underscore rotate demo. So we would be here, and that would be the place where we would be looking for this sensor log. So that would be showing this. But if we wanted to specify more on this creation of this log rotation configuration, we would specify that on that file, on that configuration file, on the where we specify the size when that would happen. So that would be something. And on the rotate, on the compression, or any other parameters. So we already did that, and let's try to force the rotation so that could happen, and you would see by your own self. So what we would do, we would navigate to the directory that we are, that has the sensor log, and we're going to force the rotation. So for the purpose of this demonstration, let's do that. Ask for a permission, and log rotate would be that command that we're going to use, force this. So the location where I'm going to mention here, put it here, would be the location of that IoT-demo file, configuration file that I configured, that would have a specifics that I'm going to later show it to you. This way, whenever I execute, that would make that log rotation happen. What would happen? Within that configuration file, there has been a configuration that whenever this file would hit, for example, 5 kilobytes, but that hasn't happened in our case, but I forced to do, that would just take that whole content from this file and put it on zip file, and then have it there, that saved there. And this would manage, from a data management perspective, would be a very good thing and wise thing to do, so that you would be not instead of having one single file that is 5 gigs, 500 gigs, or 5 terabytes, you would have a couple of them that you would be able to manage much easily. So that would be the output of this whole commands that would bring you. And if we want to repeat this, so we would be able to repeat. So let's try to see that. No, that would not bring. So the actual one. So let me just simulate that one, grab that log that was on a previous folder and paste it here and replace all. Okay, good. So let's try to force again. And you see, it creates in order, the first, the second, and so on. So this would be the part of a log rotation. And then further, using journal. So using journal, that would be something that we would be looking. So journal would be another thing that where we would show how the system how system logs would be parsed. So that would be looking this way. So for example, that would mean you would be on any type of file, so it doesn't matter. We're not for so much title to that sensor log. So journal ctl-n20. So this would show us the latest real-time log streaming and filtering. And then if we want to see more on the SSH, for example, we want to be specific. So -u SSH, we got some SSH before. So that would show us that we use, and there was some sessions of the SSH within. So journal would be that commands that you're going to use for IoT Linux logs, if that environment for using IoT is a Linux. If you use something different, for example, let's try journal, the dash we can use for a period of time since, for example, 10 minutes ago. Okay. Let me fix the comment. So that will show in only the last 10 minutes. So that would mean that since we are 12:31, it shows from 12:22. So that's actually 10 minutes. And if we want to grab the errors, we will be able to grab on journal CTL. Just use it grab, and then errors, and that would show us only the error. So this would be the way how you would be filtering and used within a digital forensics, where you would be able to further navigate and drill down what is going on and what is happening. So I'm going to just stop at this. So that would be all about this logging and extracting and finding those system logs that Linux and Ubuntu system would have. And then this would be served and used within the further identification of anomalies and then building and constructing the whole timeline.